Here on Sunny Willow Farms, we have an amazing spring-fed pond and this gorgeous pasture just to the north of it. The more we thought about it once we bought this place, we thought this would be the perfect home for ducks. But these aren't just any ducks. Oh no, these are our eco-warrior ducks, here to help us with our regenerative farming practices and to be super adorable while doing it. So what's the big deal about ducks, you ask? Well, these guys are a powerhouse of pest control, they're great for soil regeneration, and they also do a really good job of weed eating. Plus, they're just hilarious to look at. It's easy to spend 30 minutes up here just watching them waddle around with each other. From building their house to getting them a water source, we've set up a simple system to make sure that our ducks are happy and healthy. As you can hear. Whether you have a big spring-fed pond like we do, or just a kiddie pool in your backyard, you'll be able to see how easy it is to add some of the most fun, helpful animals that you can have. And you can't forget those delicious pasture-raised duck eggs. Our ducks play a very valuable role here on our regenerative farm and for the ecosystem in general. They're great for pond health, great for soil health, biodiversity, and pest control. Duck manure is full of nitrogen and potassium, which is great for regenerating the soil and the grasses that the ducks travel on. So we have a whole area at the northern end of our farm with some hilly pastures, and it's right next to the pond here, as you can see. So when the ground gets impacted enough, they need to move on, we just move them to a fresh patch of grass and let them graze and regenerate, and then we get to see dark green, beautiful grass come up behind them, which is really fun. Another great benefit to our ducks is the pest control. They are awesome at balancing the insect population, and we didn't use them in our garden this year because we only had a very small garden, but a lot of people have great benefit from putting them in their garden to control the slug and snail population. They're great at that, and it's also really good for the ducks. It keeps them healthy. They have fresh protein and nutrients in their diet that cuts down on feed costs for us, which is great, and it makes our ducks really happy and healthy and strong. When you have a great pond like we do, it's hard not to want to put ducks in it. They just fit perfectly and naturally in here. They add to the biodiversity of the farm overall, which is what we want. We believe in that, not too much of any one thing, and the more breeds, the more species, the more microbes you have, the healthier your farm is going to be and the more it's going to thrive. Not only is the pond really good for the ducks, but the ducks are also really good for the pond. As they swim, they kick their little flippers, and that adds oxygen to the water, which is really good for fish and plant life and any other animals that benefit or use the pond. So things are kept in balance, and they do a really good job of keeping the water clean and just fresh. The ducks will also eat algae and any vegetative overgrowth in and around the pond, which does a great job of keeping that balanced and contributing to the nutrient cycle. So they're eating what's here, they're pooping it out into the pond, which benefits the pond. Good things grow, they eat the good things, it just keeps on going. Somehow like God designed it. You may be looking at our pond and wondering, why is it not all fresh and clear? Well, ours is still pretty muddy looking. We only just started this process and introduced the ducks to the pond maybe 3 or 4 days ago. So it's brand new, but we're really excited to see it transform and regenerate, which is what we're all about here on Sunny Willow Farms. So stay tuned, because I'm sure in the future we'll have a video where you get to see the results of the awesome work that ducks can do here.
As for duck feed, 2 things we have to pay attention to whenever you're formulating any sort of diet. The concerns for ducks, you can feed them chicken feed, but the 2 things you need to look at are calcium, which is a lot of what people use oyster shell. They'll supplement chicken feed for oyster shell, and sometimes chicken feeds will just have a lot of calcium in it innately, and a lot of calcium is bad for ducks. So you want to make sure you check your tag. Number 2 is vitamin B, or niacin, is a big thing that ducks need. And a lot of chicken feeds don't have it because chickens don't need it as much. And that way, that you can supplement with brewer's yeast. That's what we got right here. Mix it in, there's a ratio, we mix it in, but a lot of times I'm eyeballing it, but just because I've gotten used to how much needs to go in. They're all out, so I'm gonna fill them up. My hand mixer. This feed is only about 15% protein. It's leftover from feeding meat chickens. Ducks need a little bit more protein, so what we've been doing is supplementing with potatoes, and that's really big hack. Ducks love potatoes. Great source of protein, lots of vitamins and minerals if you can get ones that are non-GMO. A good way to add some protein to their diet without having to buy a whole new bag of feed. Bag of potatoes, just boil them. Well, all we do is just boil them and mash them and stick them in a stew. I don't mash them, that was a joke. One other thing is I've got grit in these separate troughs. Grit's always important for any kind of bird. Helps them process the food, digest the food well. And they also get their minerals in minerals, right? They're minerals. It's just good for them health-wise. One thing about ducks, I learned that they see us as predators. And they see these little things as long claws. So they're just naturally scared of us. So you always want to be really calm, really quiet, slow moving. That always helps them make sure that they're not scared of you. You guys want some food? I think they're ready for food. Here, I'll move over here and I bet they'll move. Another really important thing about ducks, you need to make sure that they have enough water. We've got a pond, a good old pond back here, but we didn't always have that. They were kind of on other parts of our property. When they were a little too little, that's a big thing with little ducks is you don't want to put ducklings in water because they haven't developed a certain gland in their body that helps them float. So ironically, people can kill a lot of ducklings because they drown, wanting to kind of see them swim earlier than they're ready. Even if you don't have a giant pond like us, you can still make it work with baby pools and waterers. They love it, and you just have to make sure you refill it. And once it starts to get real dirty, they like to mess it up. That's the big thing a lot of people don't like with ducks is they're messy. And I understand that, but they're also animals. So animals are just messy in general. So I think it's worth it. I love them. They're some of my favorite animals. It doesn't take too much to take care of them. Water, food, a little swimming area. You can get a Walmart pool for $10 these days, so and it works just fine. You guys want some food? And the way they eat is hilarious. Up the hill here, we have their house. We made sure to put it on a higher location, higher elevation, right? So it doesn't get flooded with water. This is one of the higher points on our property. Spring feeds into the pond back there. And then there's also a lot of water drainage down here and out to the runoff area. This is their house we built them. It's in the style of a salt box, is what they call it. I'll show you real quick. Entrance right here, real simple. This is the lid or the roof that covers. We'll close it up at night. That way, I have two bungees that make sure it stays closed. A little ventilation so that it's not getting too hot. Starts off at a high elevation and slowly slopes down to a lower elevation. It comes all the way to the back of the salt box. We have a little area where you can open up, and there are 5 nest boxes. These nest boxes are bigger than your average, so they probably will hold 10. Depends on the size of the duck, right? We have some big ones and some little ones. Plenty of room for nesting, plenty of room for space. Easy collection, and we're ready for them to start laying here in the next month. I'm really excited for that. I wish I could show you, but that's coming up soon. As for fencing, we're using an electric fence we bought from Premier One. Really great at stopping predators. Ducks, aren't trying to get out of it. Right now they have open access to the pond, and at night we're closing in the fence and closing in the house to make sure there are no predator intrusions. And it's been working great. Okay, my big vision, my grand vision for this place. Okay, so we got the ducks over here in this area towards the pond. Perfect for them. We have about 25 ducks at the moment, 4 different breeds, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I have a bigger vision than that. I don't want just 25 ducks. No. I'm a man of duck culture, and I just love ducks. So I want as many ducks as I can fit in our property. And we have about, let's say 2.5 acres in this front area. Nothing going on there, but it has great water. There's tons of water drainage throughout the entire property. It's beautiful, lush, green grass, healthy plants. I'm sure there are tons of bugs that they would love foraging. It's a perfect area to add more ducks. So it takes a little time and to get more ducks. So we're starting with 25. We'll expand out from there. But my plan starts with this. A tunnel. It's hard to see on camera because it's chicken wire. A little chicken wire tunnel that starts from their house, leads them down into this lower area. I ran out of chicken wire, so it's only stopped there, but we'll get there. Lush green grass, plenty of fresh air, fresh sunlight, opening up into a beautiful lush area where the ducks would just frolic free and just have the best duck life they can. And I'd like, get a setup over here, get fencing over here, get fencing over here, and I'd have, every kind of duck. I want all the varieties, and just have the most beautiful duck sanctuary where duck music is made throughout the entire property. We have way too many eggs we don't know what to do with, which is a good problem to have. And I also want to plant a lot of blueberry bushes. I've seen this amazing video talking about permaculture duck eggs, how they have these tons of blueberry patches on their property, and the ducks fertilize the blueberry patches, and then they eat the blueberries, and also they eat any pests that are annoying the blueberry plants. It seems like a perfect symbiotic relationship, kind of a Sunny Willow Farms style relationship, and we want to emulate that. So I hope over the years I can show you, look, I've added this kind of duck, and I've added this kind of duck, and you can just see it build on itself and just see the amazing duck power. Cobra Kai, never die. One thing I wanted to mention was the geese. As for predator control, we have a lot of tree cover. There's a lot of taller trees with good branches that overhang this area. But when we're in the front area, there's less tree cover. So it's great to have geese. Geese are amazing at fending off any sort of aerial predators. They're not always gonna fight the aerial predators, but they're definitely gonna alert you, make a ruckus, and a lot of times that will scare off any sort of hawk or owl that's trying to swoop down and take one of your ducks. They're great for defending chickens too. A lot of people have them, just a great...
Which is helpful because ducks can't see up the way that geese can.
Great point. Geese, great eyesight. That's one of the big things about geese. And ducks really struggle to see up. Great to have geese for that purpose, to make sure that they're seeing anything in the sky and alerting the rest of the flock. The ducks are just great about staying together in a flock, which is very different from chickens. Chickens are spreading, a lot of times will spread out, just kind of do their own thing, a little more independence. Sometimes they'll stay together, but ducks, man, they are in one pack. And it's funny, we got 2 different sections of ducks, and the first grouping of ducks we bought are a little bit bigger. They stay together. The second section of ducks, which is 3 different varieties, they stay together, but they also stay together in a bigger pile. So they're all together, but they're also separated within their respective breeds and when they grew up together. I think it's pretty cool. Those instincts are really cool. So they're staying real close together. There's no duck that's straying off, at least not that I've seen. And this kind of leads me to talk about the breeds. The first group of ducks we got, I was really, really interested in Welsh Harlequins. If you know anything about ducks, khaki Campbells are the go-to layer breed. People love khaki Campbells and they lay the best. Well, Welsh Harlequins, a lot of people think that they were bred from khaki Campbells, and they just have a little bit different coloring. I ordered the Welsh Harlequins, and I got them from a big hatchery, and they called me, oh, we had a bad hatch. And I'd been waiting months to get these ducks, and so I was so excited about them. Heard the news, didn't end up getting those Welsh Harlequins. They said, hey, we'll send you these Appleyards instead. Appleyards look pretty similar to Welsh Harlequins. They're white with brown and lots of color. Really, really pretty ducks. The drakes have green heads, and for a while I didn't know which ones were the drakes. They all looked similar, and up until the last few weeks, the drakes, the male ducks, started getting their green heads. Appleyards are great layers, and they're in the heavyweight class, so females can get around 8 pounds, males around 9 pounds, and that's a pretty big duck. They share a similar weight category with a Peking duck, which a lot of people have heard of because a lot of Asian restaurants will use a Peking duck. So Appleyards are great dual purpose, but they're supposed to be the best laying, and they were kind of bred to be that perfect dual purpose duck. That was the first batch. The second batch I ordered, and after weeks of trying to convince Jenny, please let me get more ducks, I just want more ducks, we got khaki Campbells because they were just cost effective, high egg production for a lower amount of money per duck. And then I threw in a couple for just for fun. I threw in a couple Indian runner ducks, and you should show your boots. We realized later on, Jenny's got little runner ducks on her boots with on her galoshes, the ducks have galoshes. They're just the funniest looking ducks. I refer to them as wine bottles with legs, or with wings. They stand straight up and waddle, and it's just hilarious. The Cayuga duck was the fourth and final duck, And those are just beautiful ducks. They have that green iridescent sheen on them. It's starting to come in on a lot of ours, and they're just beautiful ducks. And they're pretty good layers too. Those are our 4 breeds. We'll start with that. I'm excited to get more. Of course, I want my Welsh Harlequins eventually. I will get them. You know who you are. You robbed me of them. No, they don't. We don't have duck eggs yet, but we will. So get ready for the best, the most delicious, the best for you egg you've ever had. The duck egg.
Pastured duck egg.
Pastured duck eggs. Get it straight. Permaculture. Duck eggs are great for a lot of reasons nutritionally, and you can look up all the various benefits they have online, so I'll just briefly touch on them. But they're great for a lot of vitamins and minerals, iron, B12, omega fatty 3 acids, and they can have up to 50% more protein than chicken eggs. If you want to up your protein intake, duck eggs are great for that. There are also a lot of people use them in baking, and they say a big difference. There's also a lot of people that stay away from duck eggs because they think, oh, duck eggs, that's gross. You know, I'm just a chicken egg eater, because that's just what, as Americans, we're just comfortable with, and I get that. But a lot of people, if you feed them a duck egg and they've never had a duck egg before, or you kind of blind taste test them, right? You feed them a duck egg and you don't tell them it's a duck egg. People just come out saying, oh, this is the best chicken egg I've ever tasted. It's just richer and fuller, and people love it. So I'm just throwing it out there. If you haven't had a duck egg, you need to try a duck egg. And I'm not just saying go to your Joe Blow duck egg down the street. You need to get your Sunny Willow Farms duck egg. I'm sure by the time this gets edited and pushed out, and by the time you're watching it, we'll have duck eggs, and you can give us a call. You can give us a call and say, hey, I want your pasture-raised duck eggs, because they're the most delicious things on the planet. And you know, we're like, look, it's been sold out for months. I can try to get you on the list, but you know, the waiting list is also filling up fast. Either way, I'm really excited about duck eggs and all the benefits that come with it. And I want more ducks. Did I say that already? I want more ducks. Jenny, give me more ducks. Oh, and that's Sunny Willow Farms duck video in the books. You want ducks? We got them. You want eggs? We don't got them, but we will soon. Come back more for next time. Subscribe, like, do the thing. Get me, pay for more of my ducks, because I want more ducks.